Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Shine, Senior Editor at Automotive News. I'm with Joe Castelino, Barcelo, Ryan Sokoloff.
Afternoon.
You can read all about them in the app. We talk about mobile service, and everybody thinks, oh, mobile service, that's a great thing for service and parts and your fixed ops. We're here to talk about how can we make that a dealer-wide initiative to make it into sales and an F&I, a pitch to make a retention and about loyalty. So these guys are great, and they're going to take over. I'm just going to ask a question here or there and let them go. Joe, since you're right next to me, I'm going to start with you. Why did you get into mobile? What was the value proposition for you? Was it a financial thing? Was it a capacity thing? What made you make that leap?
It wasn't a financial thing. It was more of, I got to think differently. And my competitors are not, right?
Right.
You have to think differently. You got to get your brand out there. You got to just think differently. So, okay, let's do mobile service, right? You saw it with Tesla. You saw it work. You saw, I forget what the other company that tried it. And they're great ideas, right? We have to make ourselves available to customers. We have to make ourselves convenient to do business with. And so it just made sense. And I think the bigger question is why not?
I agree. Ryan over here has been doing it for years, right?
Yeah, 10 years. It's 2016 we started.
Dude, you're really 10 years in?
It's been a decade. Oh, 10 years in? That's a long time.
No, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know.
Like a horse and buggy.
We've done a couple of these.
To answer your question, I think that, and I was the first Toyota dealer in the country to have signed doing mobile service of any kind. And I just know that we're super late to the party. It's about taking care of the customer. What are they asking for? If I'm going to do and provide a service that they can get, and remember there's 1,270 Toyota dealers around the country. If I'm going to do what everyone else is doing, then I'm going to get what everyone else has. Well, I want something different. I'm in South Orange County in Southern California, and there's a Toyota dealer every 5 miles, Joe. I mean, every 5 miles. There's a Toyota dealer every 5 miles. There's a dealer on every corner. So I've got to be different. It's about taking care of the customer in a unique way.
Here's a small dig.
Yeah.
He's the first Toyota store by 2 weeks. Right? He beat me by 2 weeks, right? And so there's the jab. There's the quick jab.
First
Yeah,
is first.
To be fair, it's exactly what he said. If he doesn't, or if I didn't, someone else would. And
Exactly.
I was late to the party.
Yeah.
We've got to do something different.
Ryan was early to the party. Instead of a mobile service van, it might have been like a horse and buggy 10 years ago.
They were definitely last. If you, since we're talking 2 weeks ago, but yes, 10 years ago, for us we didn't have enough space in the shop, so it was just another avenue. Seven dealers in the same county, trying to figure out how do you get your big piece of the pie. And it had such great legs that we just never stopped.
Yeah. Hey, I got to jump on that because it isn't just about scale. Because I'm in a place where just real estate's way too expensive. I am looking at a shop down the road though, where I just want to open up, another 20, 30 bays, from our main facility that's just around the corner. But we found, Toyota has Toyota Care. So the first 2 year, 25,000 miles as of right now is still complimentary. We give it to every new car sale. I do it for every used car as well. So we decided just recently we're going to offer the first 3 services out mobile just automatically. We're scheduling those on every one of those Toyota Care services. We can provide that at home, make it super convenient. And I tell you, our customer feedback is unbelievable.
So jumping on that bandwagon too.
I'll be down on that. I'll be over here. You don't need.
Yeah, get out of here, man. We don't need you, Dan.
I'm
kidding.
So our Toyota store is 67 bays, right? And we're at capacity. Same issue.
Exactly.
Real estate's a premium in California.
Yeah.
So our mobile service there, right? 6 appointments a day is what this car can do. That's it. Just between the traffic.
That's
whatnot,
a lot too.
It is. And that car is booked 3 weeks out, 6 appointments a day, 7 days a week.
That's so strong.
And so there's
that.
the capacity stuff. So we're generating $30,000 a month off this car.
Didn't you just order more cars?
5 cars.
Five more cars for this.
I can't keep up with the demand. And we're
That's
not
so
even
strong.
advertising, Dan. We're not. It's just because this little RAV4 is running around town that people are.
It's on your website. It's on your webpage though too. Yeah.
You're getting people loving you. I'm getting people hating me because they're saying, "Who books an oil change 3 weeks out in advance?" And it's like, I know, guys. I can't keep up.
Yeah, that's
right?
awesome.
Like it's
So
a different
I know you don't advertise because you can't, because you've got enough business.
can't do
as
any
is.
more.
But for you two, and again, we're talking about if we want to widen this out into the dealership world and make this a whole dealership initiative, how do you let your customers know, hey, we do mobile
Oh,
service?
dude. Yeah, tell me how you do it.
So for anyone who hasn't started, or even if you have, the biggest thing that I could tell you is this is not known to your customer base yet. So
Isn't.
everything that we're doing is education, education, education. So you got to go on the forefront. You got to go offensive. And in reality, think like a customer and walk through their shoes as far as the customer journey.
That's true.
When they're walking into your service department, how they're calling the store, are they using the scheduler on your website? When are you prompting them? And this is really an education campaign and a conversion campaign. So having a little bit of a BDC action where ultimately you're qualifying the customer, prompting them with your 30-second pitch, and educating them and offering it to them while they're asking for service is the easiest way. That's advertising where you don't have to spend any money.
But how many services are you doing a month mobile?
So we have a Ford store and a Chrysler store. We started 10 years ago with Chrysler. We didn't even have a Ford store at the time. The Ford store came about 6 years later. But now they're centralized now. As a whole, we do 1,300 to 1,400 repair orders a month as a whole. And we are, you mentioned Amish buggies. We're in Lancaster County, so we know what Amish buggies are. They're everywhere. So it's a
How many mobile though?
1,300 to 1,400.
Really?
That's your mobile.
Dude.
Yeah, there's a dozen.
That's spectacular.
Dozen vans. There's probably approximately 15 to 16 total employees. Some administrative. The cost structure is
That's so
obviously
strong.
totally different, but in a good way, honestly.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I got to tell you, I introduced this. First, I'm not going to tell you it's easy. It wasn't. I mean, the dealers were, super Neolithic. We like doing things in the dinosaur age, right? So the employees were the first buy-in I needed to get, right? And so, but they were all in. I've got a great team, and they want to take good care. Well, we do about 3,500 total repair orders a month. But it wasn't till the BDC began answering the phone, hey, are you calling today to schedule your mobile service, that all of a sudden it's like, you do mobile service? It was a great way. And I got to tell you, it was the Curbee success manager that came out and said, hey, are you doing this? He said, hey, you got to get your BDC to answer the phone. And these girls, they're doing answering a bunch of calls, making a bunch of calls. Their capacity was amazing. And then when the sales department got involved and started saying, hey, we're going to schedule your first service and we're coming out to you, they're like, you got to be kidding. I had a lady last week tell me, I shopped around and I'm really glad I bought from you guys. But had I known you were going to do some of the minor services or just services that you come to me on a mobile, I would have never shopped around. It was the value proposition of why I'm glad I bought a car from you guys.
We use it for ROI or for TLE, for our retention.
Okay.
Yeah.
We bring awareness to it.
Big
So we have
time.
a morning thread between all of our franchises, and so everybody has to report their mobile service.
Yeah.
We bring awareness there. But what we were doing to get it out there and chase our TLE and our retention is we were having our BDC outbound call saying, hey, our mobile service happens to be in your area. We have an opening. Would you like to do it?
I love
People
it.
were just saying,
That's so
wait,
strong.
you have mobile service? And that's how we started it. Now, once the caboose took off, the train left the station, and we don't do that anymore. But
So
that's how we got
everybody knows in the dealership world, service and parts is for dealerships getting tougher, right? There's a lot of competition out there. Independent shops keep going up.
Oh, boy.
The Curbee report, kind of talks about that. How many independent shops someone drives by before they get to a dealership.
That's a great point.
How do you make mobile service a retention tool?
Wow.
I think I jumped the gun on that one, right?
That's too easy. How do you make it a retention tool? So we were having supper with someone the other day. At the end of the day, if you got to have a brand. If you're not unique in the service you provide, then as a dealer, listen, you just got to be, how cheap are you willing to do this thing? And if it just comes down to price, listen, we're all going to lose because the dealer at the end that says, yeah, I'll take that deal. I mean, if there's nothing compelling that says you care about me, I'm actually here as part of the community, and it's the service that we provide that is the differentiating factor, I think. And mobile service, it does that for me.
There's also an experience difference, right? So you're in your home, you're in your pajamas,
Yeah.
you're in your shorts.
I love
People are coming to you. So the interaction between a technician and a customer it's different, right? You're not a number at that point. You're not just being heard like sheep. You're not just sitting in a waiting room. You're sitting in your house watching TV. Although granted, if you talk to the technicians, rarely, and I'm sure you two have the same experience, will somebody go inside and watch TV? They'll actually watch the technicians work and interact.
They're super intrigued. Yeah. Right?
Absolutely. And I was asking about retention here and how do you get them with mobile service to be for the retention aspect of this. The simple answer is have them try it. It's sticky enough. The experience is so frictionless that you really just want to encourage that first experience. So beyond just converting as people are calling in, we use Recall Masters. They actually send essentially an advertisement as a gift card that they can utilize specifically for mobile service. So we're giving away that first service as a value prop just to acquire the customer. And then at that point, the rest of it can kind of just take off from there, right? They know about the service. They experience the service. Yes, they are not watching television. Heck, half the times their kids are outside watching the technician do it, giving them food. Like the technicians are almost treated like family while they're there. It's fantastic.
Cool. Yeah. The guys in the morning love it because they say people come out and we give them coffee, donuts, pastries. Like
every time.
The technicians love the first appointment.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So how do we measure this? What KPIs are you looking at to see if this is working? What are the metrics that matter most when you're looking at your mobile service and whether it's really working for you?
Take that, Joe.
So for me, it's TLE. It's dollars per hour.
It is.
And it's actually just, you can measure it, right? You can measure the growth. You can measure the revenue that's being generated. TLE we jumped from 99.7 to 104 in the short time that we did it. We hit President's Cup at Toyota because of it. I mean, that's an easy metric to...
Yeah. So it really is about selling them their next 5 cars, right? But the today return on investment on that for us as a Toyota dealer, it's easy. Toyota's paying me for the first 5 services,
but they're giving us no incentives. They're giving us zero back end.
Let me tell you,
we're just doing.
But I do have the factory execs outlining, just really curious about hey, how's this going, Eve? And there's a lot of support. They know we have to jump into this. We're in the convenience business. It's about making things super convenient and just taking better care of the customer than the guy down the street. And that includes not just my Toyota competitor, but any competitor. So for me, it's the ROI is easy because the Toyota Care is reimbursing. But listen, we go out on recall services as well. One of the things I love too is that I'll have my guy go out on a rescue mission. How many people will call AAA because the car's not starting, or I walked out and my tire's flat or something? Listen, I have my guy go out on any call. And I call that just a rescue mission because listen, that's goodwill. I'm a part of the community. It's not just a unique service that I provide. It's about doing the right thing. And let me tell you, one of the reasons why I love this is the first time I've come to this conference. But when I see love people more than your car, right? Or love your car more than people, one of those. Listen, it's tough to love a car dealer because we've been doing the wrong thing for so long. Let's do the right thing. Let's take great care of the customer. If you expect this, how about if I get there instead? Just elevate this thing.
I can jump back in there. Sorry, Ryan, I'm cutting you off, and we warned you about all this, right? We can talk.
You weren't going to get a word in, bud.
So at my VW store, we were doing mobile, and nobody in the area was. So we had another dealer in our area slow playing enterprise, right? A fleet account. They're like, hey, we've got this massive recall, and this is what triggered it. The massive recall that came out, and they're only letting them do 1 or 2 cars a day. Well, enterprise can't rent their cars out, so the factory rep started getting some heat. So he calls me. He goes, Joe, you do mobile service, right? I go, yeah.
Wow.
He goes, can you do this recall?
Strong,
he's pulling work for me.
Love
He's like, can you go up to the San Francisco airport and service the enterprise cars? They've got 35 cars that need this recall done that this one dealer can't get to. And I'm getting all sorts of heat. So sure, I'll do the factory a favor. Well, what ended up happening is we went out there, we serviced Enterprise's cars. Well, when Hertz saw that we were there, they called us. And when Hertz called us, Avis called us. Mm-hmm. And then they started circulating their friends because all of a sudden these guys, and we're servicing all 3 major airports to the point that I started getting phone calls from another airport servicing another one of my stores that isn't on mobile yet. And my one store is competing with my other store. And I'm like, I don't know what to do here.
Good job.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all organic, word of mouth, right? Which is this is how stuff this it just keeps spreading, right? So Dan, for us, and I think most people still in this room are really looking for a return on investment, and does this pencil? So for us, it still has to make money, and I think our biggest measurement beyond just customer satisfaction and retention would be each individual van's performance. So we track each technician on each van and see their hours per day for the month, and even their pay plans are tied to that. So they have to be profitable. We have to care about production. We have to care about unapplied time and overall efficiency of those vans. And there is drive time, there is downtime. It's not like the shop where the customer comes to you. You are still driving to them. So you need good software. I think we're all using Curbee for a reason, for that route optimization portion of it.
Yeah, they've got it figured out.
And
the other guys didn't.
That still helps us with driving the hours per van per day, which is my KPI that we look at since we started.
All right, I got a question here, and I'm gonna. So you started 10 years ago, and I know Curbee was around 10 years ago. So what were you using then, and why Curbee?
Wow.
We started Curbee a year ago, and it got to the point where it was, how do you continue to find your way to be a little bit more competitive, a little bit more competitive, a little bit more competitive. There are more people doing this today. There is also no playbook. So what you think is good may not be as good as you think, right? We started going to 20 groups and we think that our shit doesn't stink, and then you find out you actually do suck, right? So
Yeah, it's a quick way.
So as we all started writing our own playbook, we started having to innovate, adapt, change our own version of thinking. So how we used to do it, very archaic. It was essentially you had so many slots and they were set times, and if you had an opening where you put somebody for 9 and then the next one wasn't until 11, and that means that the technician had 25 minutes where he wasn't doing anything, unapplied, wasted expense, right?
Yeah,
So
but
you need to dial that in as much as
I
you
asked
can.
that question because I tried it myself too, and I failed miserably, right? We tried it during COVID, failed miserably. Van was getting stuck in traffic. I just didn't have it dialed in. And then I tried like half doing it, right? Where I'm only going to do recalls. I'm only going to do tire rotation.
Right. Can't
and
do that.
That was, no, it failed because customers just don't want that, right? They want to change their oil. They want to do this. And so for me, Curbee was just the solution. It was route optimization. It planned everything. It made life easy.
Exactly.
It makes it enjoyable. And that's, we're having fun with it. That's
well,
why.
the team wants it to be that usable and easy. Otherwise, they're not going to do it, because this is just, you move their cheese. This is
It's
just so different for them.
Mobile service is operationally more efficient anyway, right? Can you do more with fewer people?
Well, yeah, because we have a dedicated advisor. We have dedicated guys in the shop that are designed or trained to go ahead and get out and do this. But really, it's because the moment we tried to, before Curbee came around, we knew we had to meet this need. It was a convenience thing, and we couldn't get the team and everything organized. I'm a Techion dealer, so
Same.
Curbee just plugged right into it, and it just made it too easy. The technician also has on his end the widget through Curbee that just makes the whole thing actionable, so you can get in and out of this thing. But I gotta say, back to what you just said, Ryan. I'll go out for any service and even if it means that I've got to drop the car off. I had a tech go out a couple weeks ago where the service parlayed into something more because he saw some needed safety concerns that the car needed, and it was easy. It was still one of those things where he dropped the car. He left his car. He went ahead and drove the car back. We were able to, circle back within a couple of hours, and then, and even though I can't meet every single need on by mobile, what it does is it plants the seed for the customer that says, "Man, you guys you're different. You want to take care of me differently." And later down the road, if I've got to come back to the store for something that's needed or different, then I'm more than willing to do it. You guys are different, and so. It's really the launch point of many things, I think. And like Joe just said twice, it is about retention. If there's so many other places, if we don't listen, we talk about 16 other repair shops, 16-to-1 ratio to dealers. I think it's more than that. And the moment I let my customer think it's okay to go to Costco for tires and somewhere else, listen, I've lost that customer. They're not coming back. They're no longer, I've got to make it so they want to come to me for anything. And this just is a platform for that for me.
So as a Techion dealer, I set up my scheduler. So the opcodes literally fall into play, and I drop my mobile service to my priority shop. So if you're asking for an oil change, a tire rotation, or anything,
Right.
it offers it. So my BDC sees it, my customer sees it. The second you ask for something that's not available, it won't offer it to you. It's actually quite slick.
Yeah.
But to go answer your other question, or your question, and not piggyback off of his, I'm actually thinking, since we have centralized BDCs, why can't we centralize an advisor and have mobile service trucks run through all of our different franchises by one advisor?
Smart.
Right?
100% should do that.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
we've been centralized since day one. Obviously, we originally had one store, but when we adopted and bought a second store, we've always kept it centralized. And going back to Dan's original question, which is, is it simple or, structurally, we have consolidated roles from the absolute beginning. And the number of people that are involved in it is a smaller set of people. I mean, for example, for us, a service and parts advisor, because it is dedicated. So we had to rethink everything that we did previously, which, again, going back to the financial statements, is probably how I think. But our GP might be a little bit less than what you're expecting, but the sales expense of your department is much greater than your traditional sales expense because you have less people. And then if you really trickle it down all the way to fixed expense, this is where you start seeing the biggest returns because it's typically incremental revenue added to the business, not a ton of it at really fixed expense at all. So your return on sales is actually better than, I would argue, than your typical service department anyway. So different financial aspects, but it really does make sense. We definitely would agree to centralization and simplification as far as consolidated roles, I think is really, really important for keeping costs down.
So do you run your own parts inventory for mobile?
That
Or
is,
are they per store?
Oh man, if you ask the parts manager that, he'll probably kill me. But so that is probably one of the most challenging parts about it, simply because of the fact that every parts manager, if you're not in the room, you go back to, they'll talk to you about it, is that they want to be able to control their inventory. It's what they've been taught since the beginning. And we stock inventory on our vans. I have some vans that don't come back to the store. I see that technician twice a year. Typically, it's around the holidays coming back to the dealership. They're 2.5, 3 hours away.
So he's just going from home to home or business, and he's just doing
vans at the house.
Okay,
We
you're
do
going
parts,
down the rabbit hole.
We do a parts delivery
Holy
once a
Toledo.
week, right? Pick up old parts and so on and so forth. So the inventory management part of it is a little bit scary for the faint of heart. That's obviously a little different. It doesn't have.
That's awesome. Well,
it doesn't have to be set up that way.
1,300.
No, I like that. I mean, that's slick. You're just letting them take the vans.
But really, that's where we're going with this.
Yeah.
I mean, it is that big. We just have not done a great job of it for so long. So it's cool.
Case in point, right? I was asleep at the wheel for
That's
2
right.
weeks. You took my line.
Yeah.
You were
But it's been a year
second.
now.
You were second.
I was
That's
second.
our- I think we've
Second.
established
But it's
that.
been a year, and I'm super glad we did it. Yeah.
Any questions out there? We have time for a little bit if anyone wants to raise their hand. Otherwise, I got some more question gold right here on this, right here. But if
Yeah. No.
anybody, no.
Can't see.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question then. 3 years from now, where are we with mobile service? We did a story in Automotive News recently about independent shops are starting to ramp up with this. Not your mom and pop corner store, but Christian Brothers and the Goodyears of the Pep Boys of the world. They're starting to see this as well.
Yeah, they are.
What does this landscape look like in 3 years?
Well, you take this
Joe.
one.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I think if we get ahead of this, right, like we are here, you're going to come out ahead. You've already got brand recognition. You're already naming a brand. You're already like, why would I go to a Pep Boys or a Midas if I've got the factory willing to come to me?
Yeah.
You've got the warranty factors. I mean, right there, we'll even prove we're not too high on price. Like, it's a myth. Like our commodity sales, we're right on par with these guys.
I think that mobile service is in its infancy stages.
Yeah.
This is just going to get bigger. But I'll tell you where my mind goes is that it's going to go to a greater sales efficiency. I'm going to be selling more cars from it. The word has already gotten out. Hey, those silly people at Santa Margarita Toyota, they actually come to you and do this because I have dealers around me who are totally trapped in the mental jail, which is, hey, I'm just going to keep doing it my way and make the customer come. And you just have to break that. If you're a dealer, there's no way.
You built a nice new showroom and a nice waiting room. You want people to use that, right?
What's their slogan? What's Curbee's slogan? We like your coffee at your house tastes better than ours. Something like that. There was a slogan, right? And it's true. Like, we like your coffee better than you. Yeah.
I'm a one-price store, and that translates into everywhere, sales, F&I, and service. And really, the customers in my area just grabbed that right away and said, wow, I just didn't want to fiddle with it. I've got CarMax stores nearby that are selling one that's about 7 miles from me, selling almost 700 cars a month. That's a joke. I'm sorry if you're a CarMax person. I wish they'd have gone out of business by now, right? But at the end of the day, people just kept saying, by them voting with their dollars, I don't want to go to the dealer and fiddle faddle with numbers all day and talk to a car salesman that's just trying to get into my back pocket the whole time. I just think it's the service that you provide, and when you can do it at a value, because I don't have commission salespeople and all that stuff, people love that. Anyway, that's my own pitch.
Tough to determine what 3 years will look like exactly, but my vision of how things will continue to progress is similar to, I'd say, the wholesale structure, just with better profit margins than that, is that there's people that don't do it at all, there's people that do a little bit of it, and then there's the behemoths. That's probably going to be similar to what happens with mobile service, is how invested are they in it for whatever their particular motivations are, if that's customer service, if that's sales, loyalty, retention, if that's profit. Everyone's motivations are going to be a little bit different. Why I think it will continue to stick around, even though there'll be varying levels of participation, is simply because of the fact that convenience has been, I think, ingrained in just about everyone's life with DoorDash and Uber and on-demand everything.
It's not going away.
I can order something from Amazon right now and get it delivered at 4 o'clock in the morning at my house. There's some random guy dropping off a package on my door in my door cam. So, I order pizza from the place that comes to me, not the place that I got to drive 30 minutes and past 10 pizza shops to do. This is no different than 16 independent independent garages, right? They're driving by them to go to us. Why are they doing that, right? We have to come to them, and when we can't come to them, we need to pick it up and bring the car back to us. The car may have to come to the dealer sometimes, but not the customer. Yeah, that's how we're going to continue to win, and that's where I think that why mobile service has got the legs it does.
I mean, look at our own
$1,300 a month.
I think I spent like $13 on some cilantro because I was out of it. And I didn't want to go to the store, right, with the delivery fees and everything.
What's that?
I said, look at our own lives, right? Like, I think I just spent
it's about convenience.
No, I spent $13 on cilantro the other day because I needed cilantro to make my guacamole or whatever the hell I was making, and I'm like, do I really want to go to the store? I'm just like,
Whole Foods will drop it off in an hour. No, it really goes down to convenience like that because
there's an expectation now. Customer
it is. Right. But as dealers, we haven't met that need at all, and so this is cool. It's going to get way bigger. I'm excited about what's going to happen next. I really do. But again, I go back to I know it's translating already into just like customers that say, "Man, it's a no-brainer. I'm in, and I want to buy a car from you because you provide that." So that's a big deal to me.
I mean, and not that we couldn't charge like the $13 for cilantro and the dealers, the delivery fees on top of the tip and all the crazy stuff with Uber that we're nuts for paying. But we don't do that. We're the same price as the store. We don't charge any more, no less.
I don't charge for this. That's a great question. I don't charge for this. I don't. I know at first everyone was like, well, are we going to charge? Well, why would I? This is stupid. No.
Look, I think everybody's worried about making money. We proved that you're generating revenue, but you're taking market share.
No, it is.
We're taking market share.
And that is money. So last I checked, it is about retention.
And you mentioned earlier, though, this doesn't have to be cheap, right? So like our entire business philosophy is we're a convenience-driven dealership, not a price-driven dealership. I just don't tell the customer the last part of that. But so we're not cheap. We're not. We do a competitive analysis. There's definitely places that are cheaper than us, dealer and independent. But if you want the services, you have to pay for it, right? And we offer a wide variety of them as a dealership. We continue to try to focus on that core mission. And we just have to then execute it. You can't just say you do it. You have to go out there and do it every day.
Well said. That's
You can
100%.
score fleet accounts. Like I scored some fleet accounts too, which is great, right? Like so Toyota, we do the Orkin Man. I think that's what they call it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Like
love
they've got
that.
a bunch of
Toyota has
Toyota
fleet?
They do.
Yeah, well, Orkin they have a bunch of Toyota trucks, right? Like so, go service them. Like Google has a bunch of the
That's so strong.
ID4s, and so
Yeah.
we go there and you're
No,
starting to take
Dan,
15,
the truth
20 cars.
is
Like, it's-
the rabbit hole of really low-hanging fruit, it's all over the place. We just haven't been thinking that way. It's weird. Yeah.
Well, I think we are out of time. But I see a hand. Before then, go
Well,
ahead.
there's
Oh, a
two
couple
people in the
hands.
back going like this. I have no idea what that means.
Shout it out.
Okay.
1,400 ROs a month. How many are you doing it?
That's for you, Ryan. What are you doing?
Okay, so mine's a little different, and I don't have 60 some bays.
yeah.
All right, so I have 8 technicians in each shop. So we have 8 techs at Chrysler, 8 techs at Ford, and I have 12 on the road. Now they're centralized, so just split them in half, right? So just easy math. So let's just say 750, 700 ROs for one store. I'm doing almost the exact same RO count at the dealership. So 50% of what we do, again, it's not the expectation. I would say if you're doing 15 to 20%, you're killing it. Okay, so don't shoot for 50. Go back and say 50%. You're gonna get somebody to quit on you. But yeah. Don't say that I send it.
Ryan, that's so strong. So rather than go out and spend like $5-7 million on a new building and all the equipment that goes with it, you were able to meet the need without making that investment. That's so strong.
Sure. I mean, it started because we had a small bays, so 10 bay shop, and
That's so strong.
you can
is.
scale
Makes
easily
sense.
with a van. You do not have to go out and buy a vehicle.
Yeah.
You could upfit your own, and then decide to then get bigger and start investing in nicer equipment with upfits later.
Go ahead.
Ryan, you said something that I totally agree with, which is that the name of the game and one of the biggest challenges is driving the education and the awareness with the customer. And Ephraim, you said one of the most successful ways you've done that is by changing the way you answer the phone at the BDC. Outside of that, are there any other ways you've been very effective at driving awareness and education for the customer?
Great question. Most recently, it's that our mobile service department is working hand in hand with our fleet department. And we have fleet sales managers, fleet director. Obviously, they're banging on doors, talking to people as well. However, I don't trust them necessarily to go out and always talk about service the way it should be. So our mobile service manager is now been refocused on growing that part of it, and he's knocking on doors and talking about service, and then that translates into a lead into commercial. So there's a little bit of again, it's a very active approach, and then beyond that, if you're looking for something that you can go spend some money on and have a vendor do, we have been using Recall Masters for years. I know I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Yes, you can do it for recalls, which is the typical thing, but they have some very nice cards that you could send out and customize, put a dollar amount on there just to get that initial experience going. And that's where I really think it is you need somebody to try it beforehand, just like any other Uber thing. You get it for free for a little bit, and then the juice starts coming. That would be my suggestion.
Well, from there, like we talked about, when I integrated this into sales, and that just recently happened, where they're talking about it now on every person, whether they buy or not, but certainly the ones that buy. So it just now all of a sudden exploded. I'm going out there, and really for me, I really believe the multiples are going to happen now, because when everybody that they're dealing with in a sales transaction knows that we have a mobile service. We provide mobile service. It's just been huge. And of course, at a Toyota dealer, now to go ahead and offer that for the first 3 services, hey, we're going to come to you. The customers are wowed. And so now digitally, of course, I let my digital team know. In Toyota, we have different marketing buckets of customers. You know, your loyal customer, you've been in the last 12 months. I haven't seen you in 12 months or longer, or you're a defector, you're on the outside. We have 3 different buckets that Toyota helps us. But so we digitally market to them, hey, you know what? We can come to you now. And the feedback's been enormous. And just the cost of that's nothing. besides that, we went ahead and made sure it's on our mobile page. We let people know, hey, we have a mobile service and we'll come to you. So it's been pretty good. There was another question right over here.
Sticks.
We all know that the
Can't hear you.
thanks for your insights. We all know that mobile is just scratching the surface.
Yep.
You guys are just touching the tip of the iceberg. Ryan, would you say you're critical mass with your 1,300 ROs a month with your mobile fleet? Are you at critical mass? For you two other gentlemen, do you anticipate more growth, and what do you anticipate your critical mass is going to be in adding more fleet?
So I just ordered 5 cars on Friday or last Friday. I mean, we're growing so fast. That was an easy
So I mean, and I love hearing that from Joe. And you made sure they're all BZs.
They're all BZs.
I thought that was
Yeah. Because
interesting.
we're taking the allocations, right? So like, what we're doing is Toyota's got this big initiative to push the BZ. You sell the BZ, we're selling it to our mobile fleet department, and then we're taking the allocation on the other side, so we're making it in sales and service.
Yeah, Ryan, that question was really for you, man.
I can't tell if my mobile service manager's in the room, so yes, we have more room to grow. But we do. What we did differently though was if we went back 7-10 years ago when we started, the goal was world domination. This was going to be a national thing. I was going to eat everyone's lunch in the entire country. That has changed as the landscape has changed. More people have entered, so the distance is getting more challenging. Although I see Ed in the front row up here who could probably argue differently because he's going like hours away. But we have pivoted as things have changed, and we are going wider on services and getting into more forms of mobile service and probably pushing what we typically would not want to do. So there is more opportunity. We're going for depth or breadth, not depth, and that's our focus right now. Will that change as the competitive advantages and maybe technology that we provide can change? Then maybe that will be a different answer in a couple of years. But today there's still opportunity even in our backyard.
All right, I think we are about to get kicked out. Before I forget, there's some Curbee swag in the back. If you walk by I think that's it. Kyler, is that you back there? Kyler, we're standing right over where Kyler is. There's some water bottles if you want to stop by, get a drink. Then we're going to have some of Joe's guacamole with cilantro in it, and then we'll have a party.
I love it.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.